Welcome to Wallace and Wire. Today we're talking about netizens' reaction toward Minister of Home Affairs Dato Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail's statement regarding the citizenship of the national football players. Okay, let's jump right in. This whole situation is complicated, isn't it? You've got the government saying one thing and then this international body saying something else entirely.
It really is. It's like two parallel tracks. On one hand, you have the Ministry of Home Affairs, specifically the Minister Dato Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, making a very clear statement.
Right. What was his main point?
His core assertion was, look, granting citizenship to these 7 players, totally legal, strictly followed the federal constitution, all the laws were met. That was his baseline.
Okay, establishing that domestic legal ground first. Makes sense.
Exactly. He needed to set that foundation before addressing, the international noise.
So if it was all so legally sound, according to him, why the big defense in Parliament about how they checked everything? What was the specific angle he took there?
Well, that's where it gets interesting, politically speaking. Instead of focusing solely on, say, the ancestry documents, which seem to be the root of the international problem, the minister really highlighted the language test.
The language test for footballers.
Yes. He made a point of saying these players passed the Malay language proficiency test, the one conducted by the National Registration Department.
And did he say how well they passed?
He did offer a definition.
Right.
He said it showed they have sufficient mastery of Malay, and his definition of sufficient, able to understand what we say.
Able to understand what we say. That quote alone seems like it could cause some discussion.
Oh, it absolutely did. We'll get to that. But strategically, this also allowed him to draw a line. He basically said, the Ministry of Home Affairs, we handle the citizenship, it's legal.
And the problems with the documents that the Federation Internationale de Football Association raised?
That, he stated, is an issue between FIFA, that's the Federation Internationale de Football Association, and the Football Association of Malaysia, or FAM. Not the minister's problem directly.
Ah, okay. So we approved the citizenship legally based on what we required. What FAM did without approval regarding FIFA's rules later, that's on them. Is that the gist?
Pretty much, it's creating that separation. And FAM's response, for the record, was that the documents in question, especially the ancestry ones, came from the players themselves.
So it becomes a bit of a circle of responsibility. Ministry says they followed the law. FAM says they used player documents. FIFA says the documents don't add up for sporting eligibility.
Exactly. And it's FIFA's intervention that really blew this up into a national issue, moving beyond just administrative procedure.
Because FIFA didn't just ask questions, did they? They announced actual penalties.
Serious penalties. They announced sanctions against both the 7 players and FAM. The allegation was falsification or providing inconsistent documents related to the players' eligibility for international games.
This is about FIFA rules now, not just Malaysian citizenship law.
Precisely. International regulations.
Okay, let's talk about the cost. What were the actual penalties? Fines? Bans?
Both. And they hit hard. FMAC got slapped with a huge fine, something like 1.8 million ringgit. That's a massive blow for any sports association.
Wow. 1.8 million and the players.
They each faced individual fines, too, around 10,000 ringgit, but maybe even worse than the money.
The ban.
Yeah, a potential 12-month ban from playing in certain international events, which kind of defeats the purpose of fast-tracking citizenship to boost a team, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. A whole year out. So what was the specific lie or inconsistency that FIFA found? What was the core issue with the documents?
It seems to boil down to the ancestry claim. The players apparently got citizenship relatively quickly based on the claim that their grandparents were born in Malaysia. That's often a faster path.
Right, the heritage route.
Exactly. But FIFA's investigation suggested the documents supporting those grandparent claims might have been, well, altered, or at least inconsistent with other records they had.
So FIFA is essentially saying the very basis for their quick naturalization might be flawed, at least according to the documents submitted for football eligibility.
That appears to be the core allegation from FIFA's side. It directly challenges the foundation used.
Okay, this is where the public reaction really comes in, isn't it? Because while the minister is talking legal compliance, the netizens, the public, they seem to have grabbed onto something else.
Completely. They zeroed in on that language test justification. There was a lot of, let's say, skepticism online.
You could almost feel the collective eye roll.
Definitely. The idea that passing a basic Malay language test was the main public-facing justification for citizenship. It got mocked pretty widely.
What kind of things were people saying?
Well, lots of comments questioning that sufficient level standard. Asking, can they really say more than hello, apa khabar, or terima kasih, that kind of thing.
Just the basic phrases.
Yeah. And then it got more cultural. People started asking, okay, can they sing Negaraku, the national anthem? Do they know basic Malaysian things like nasi lemak or roti canai?
So it wasn't just about language proficiency, but about genuine connection or integration.
Exactly. It was the public pushing back, saying, look, being Malaysian is more than just ticking a box on a language test. It involves some cultural understanding, some commitment.
And that feeds directly into the bigger, more sensitive issue, right? The comparison with other long-term residents struggling for citizenship.
That was probably the most powerful line of criticism. The perceived double standard. This is where you hear about the red identity card holders.
Explain that a bit for those who might not know.
Okay, so you have many people, including, for example, ethnic Chinese residents who've lived here for generations sometimes. They speak fluent Malay, often better than many citizens contribute to the country.
Decades of residency, fluent language.
Right, but they still struggle, sometimes for their entire lives, to get full citizenship or even permanent residency. Many hold what's called a red IC, or identity card, which marks them as permanent residents, but not citizens.
And the contrast is stark, isn't it? Decades of waiting versus fast-tracked footballers based on a potentially questionable claim and a basic language test.
That's the heart of the public frustration you see online. Why the seemingly easy path for them, when others with deep roots and proven integration face bureaucratic walls. It feels unfair to many.
Did people make other comparisons?
Yeah, some pointed to foreign workers. Like, if just speaking basic Malay is enough, shouldn't many workers from, say, Bangladesh or Myanmar who use Malay every day also qualify easily? It highlights the perceived inconsistency in applying the criteria.
It really does undermine that sufficient mastery claim, suggesting maybe it's not the real standard, or at least not the only one that matters, depending on who is applying.
And people weren't buying the ministry just pushing the FIFA problem onto FAM either.
They felt the ministry should still be accountable.
Very much so. The term playing Tai Chi came up, deflecting responsibility. The feeling was, if the ministry approved the citizenship based on any documents, including those ancestry claims, then they own part of this problem if those claims are now questioned internationally.
You can't just approve something and then say, not my problem, when the basis is challenged.
That was the public sentiment. The initial approval carries responsibility.
And what about the minister explaining the Malaysian law? Did netizens think that would satisfy FIFA?
Not really. People pointed out, look, explaining the federal constitution is fine for a Malaysian audience, maybe. But FIFA, they operate under international sporting regulations. They care about their rules regarding document integrity and fair play.
So the domestic legal argument might not even be relevant to FIFA's concerns.
It might be seen as irrelevant or secondary, yeah. FIFA needs assurance according to its own standards, not just Malaysian constitutional law. It's a different audience with different requirements.
So it boils down to this real tension, doesn't it? You have the
Right.
ministry claiming constitutional clarity, everything done legally.
And on the other side, you have FIFA raising serious regulatory flags and a Malaysian public that's deeply skeptical, especially about the fairness and the criteria used, like that language test.
It leaves you wondering about the bigger picture for citizenship here. If that language standard, able to understand what we say, is enough for a fast track in some cases, what does that say about the value placed on, the long-term commitment shown by others, those red IC holders still waiting?
It's a tough question. Does the process adequately weigh genuine long-term integration versus perhaps more immediate needs like strengthening a sports team? It forces a reflection on what the criteria truly prioritize.
It certainly gives everyone a lot to think about regarding fairness and process. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.